Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've ever found yourself lying awake at night, thinking about a woman who doesn't even realize she's taking up half your mental space, this video is for you. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the like. It actually helps you stay ahead in understanding the hidden truths about attraction and the female mind. Here's the thing. When a woman can't leave your mind, it isn't just random. There's a deep psychological pull at work, one most men never even realize exists. And if you think this is just about being charming, think again. This is about the way the human brain responds to connection, anticipation, and emotional tension. There's a science behind why some women linger in your thoughts while others drift away like leaves in the wind. And if you learn to read it, you're stepping into a space most men never even know exists. Truth number one is brutal but simple. She is thinking about you because you matter to her, not in the casual, surface-level way most men assume, but because you've touched a part of her mind and emotions that isn't easily accessible. Most guys think they need to constantly chase, text, or impress. The reality is, the more you understand the power of emotional imprinting, the subtle ways you stay in her mind even when you're not present, the more control you gain over her attention. And here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. The brain craves patterns and predictability in the people it feels connected to. But when you introduce a sense of unpredictability, not chaos, but subtle, intelligent absence, you trigger a constant mental loop. She begins replaying your interactions, your voice, your energy. That's why you can suddenly occupy her mind without even texting her. The tension between presence and absence is magnetic, and most men are completely unaware they can use it ethically, without manipulation, to foster genuine intrigue. By the end of this video, you're going to see that attraction isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. It's about understanding these invisible psychological levers and respecting the delicate balance between desire and mystery. So if you've ever felt frustrated because she won't stop thinking about you, or worse, because she does and you don't know why, you're about to have clarity that will change the way you approach every connection moving forward. Let's get real. The second truth that almost no man understands is that her thoughts about you aren't just emotional, they're chemical. Yes, biology is silently working in the background, wiring her brain to replay moments, gestures, and even subtle signals she may not consciously notice. When you sparked curiosity, confidence, or even subtle tension in her, your presence released dopamine and oxytocin patterns that her mind now craves. This isn't manipulation, it's the natural way humans attach attention to those who make them feel complex, alive, or challenged in a way they can't ignore. Here's the catch. Most men try to force this effect through constant texting, over-explaining themselves, or trying to be everything to her all at once. That's the exact opposite of what actually makes someone unforgettable. The mind remembers what it cannot fully capture. That fleeting laugh, the slight pause before your response, the way you made her feel intellectually or emotionally curious. These are the moments that echo. When a woman can't leave your mind, it's usually because you've made her feel something profound, even in the smallest interactions. And this is where men stumble. They confuse attention with obsession. Just because she thinks about you doesn't mean she's ready to act, commit, or respond. Her mind is looping because she's evaluating, interpreting, and trying to predict you. Men see silence and get anxious. They text, they overreach. But psychologically, her mental fixation is strongest when there's balance. Enough connection to intrigue, enough distance to let anticipation grow. This is the subtle art of presence and absence, and mastering it can completely shift the dynamic in your favor. You also need to understand the power of emotional contrast. Life, for most women, like all of us, is filled with noise, routines, and distractions. When you show calm confidence, unpredictability, or even thoughtful detachment at the right times, you create a sharp contrast with the ordinary. Her brain notices this, sometimes subconsciously. That contrast is what keeps you alive in her thoughts during moments when she's not even aware she's thinking of you. It's why she may smile at a memory of you randomly, why a text you sent days ago can suddenly feel electric again. By recognizing this, you stop chasing and start understanding. You learn to allow her mind to gravitate toward you naturally, without force. And that, in itself, is a level of control and clarity that most men never get. It's not about tricks, it's about respecting psychology, timing, and the invisible dance of attraction that quietly keeps you central in her mind. Now here's the third hidden truth. This one hits deeper than you might expect. The reason she can't leave your mind often isn't just about you, it's about how she feels when she imagines you. Thoughts of you aren't random, they're her mind replaying possibilities, imagining scenarios, and exploring emotions that she may not even realize she's craving. Every laugh, every glance, every subtle moment you shared is being magnified in her imagination because your presence created an emotional template she hasn't been able to forget. Most men overlook this because they think attraction is a static thing, a simple, she likes me, or she doesn't. But in reality, the mind doesn't work in straight lines. Her mental loops around you are fueled by curiosity, desire, and sometimes even subtle tension. When she recalls moments with you, her brain is running simulations. What if he said this? Or, how would he react if I did that? And that creates a mental magnet. The more she imagines, the stronger the imprint becomes. This is why you sometimes feel like you're omnipresent, even when you haven't spoken in days. Here's where most men fail. They interpret this mental presence as immediate availability or as a guarantee of interest. That's a trap. Thinking about someone intensely doesn't always translate to action, but it does reveal influence. Influence is power. The more she occupies your thoughts, and the more you occupy hers in these loops of imagination, the stronger the psychological connection becomes, whether she admits it or not. And this is where subtle strategy comes in. Not manipulation, but awareness. By creating moments that linger emotionally, whether through shared experiences, insightful conversation, or even subtle displays of confidence, you set up mental hooks that she cannot ignore. These hooks are invisible, yet they anchor her attention long after you're gone. Finally, understand the paradox. The stronger the mental imprint, the more she may resist outwardly. Why? Because the mind often protects itself from overwhelming emotion. The deeper she thinks about you, the more she unconsciously tests the boundaries of her feelings. That tension, that push and pull, is what keeps her mentally fixated. And once you grasp this dynamic, you no longer fear silence, distance, or inaction. You begin to see the invisible architecture of attraction, and you can quietly let it work in your favor, creating a magnetic pull that feels natural, effortless, and unavoidable. Now, let's confront the fourth hidden truth, the one most men never even consider, yet it's the single factor that determines whether she truly lingers in your mind or drifts away. Your emotional resonance. Every interaction you've had with her, every glance, every word, every subtle gesture leaves an imprint. But it's not just what you do, it's what you make her feel. And if you've unknowingly stirred emotions she can't process or label, she will return to those feelings again and again. Think about it. People don't obsess over someone who makes them feel neutral. They obsess over the ones who challenge their emotions, who stir curiosity, excitement, even frustration in a way that leaves them restless. If she can't leave your mind, it's because your presence activated parts of her emotional landscape that she hasn't felt with anyone else, or at least not in a long time. And when those feelings linger unresolved, the mind keeps circling, trying to make sense of the connection. Most men completely misinterpret this. They think consistency means constant communication, or that they must fix her emotions. But in reality, unresolved curiosity is magnetic. Women, and humans in general, are drawn to what they cannot fully explain. By being emotionally present without overexposing yourself, by showing depth, intelligence, and authenticity without being predictable, you create a psychological tension that makes her think of you even in moments when she's not consciously trying. Here's a critical insight. Your emotional resonance doesn't require grand gestures. Often, it's in the subtle moments, the way you listen intently, the way you hold your own energy while she talks, the way you challenge her thoughts respectfully. These are the interactions that her mind replays because they were rare, meaningful, and impactful. That replaying isn't a sign of obsession in the unhealthy sense. It's proof that you've entered her mental and emotional map in a way most men never do. And the paradox is beautiful. The stronger your emotional resonance, the more she may try to suppress thoughts of you, simply because the intensity feels unfamiliar. But suppression only strengthens fixation. It's an invisible dance of push and pull, and when you grasp this, you stop chasing and start embodying the type of presence that naturally occupies her mind. You stop fearing absence or silence because you understand that your influence isn't measured by immediate responses, it's measured by lasting impact. Once you internalize this, you see the truth. Women linger in minds not because of luck or charm, but because certain men leave impressions that are unforgettable. You're about to be one of those men, once you understand how to wield emotional resonance consciously, intentionally, and with authenticity. Now, here's where it all comes together. The hidden dynamic that most men never consciously notice, yet it's what separates fleeting attention from deep, lingering presence in her mind. You see, when a woman can't stop thinking about you, it's not just about chemistry, imagination, or emotional resonance. It's about your alignment with her subconscious desires. This is subtle, almost invisible, but profoundly powerful. Women, like all humans, are wired to detect authenticity, confidence, and emotional self-mastery, even if they can't articulate it. When you display these traits naturally, you trigger a mental loop in her that keeps her returning to your presence, in thought, if not in action. Here's the truth most men overlook. Attraction isn't about being perfect or constantly present. It's about being whole, compelling, and intriguing, while maintaining a life that exists independently of her attention. When your energy, your vision, and your self-respect are fully intact, it creates a magnetic contrast with the ordinary noise she encounters every day. That contrast is what she can't stop thinking about. She remembers how it felt to be in your presence because you didn't need to perform for her validation. You simply embodied confidence, intelligence, and depth. That combination is addictive, and it imprints itself in her mind like a pattern her brain can't let go of. And this is where men make the fatal mistake. They confuse mental presence with immediate access. They panic when she doesn't respond the way they want. But when a man understands this dynamic, he sees that the moments of absence, silence, or mystery actually strengthen the pull. Her brain thrives on unpredictability that doesn't feel threatening, and the emotional tension created by your independence becomes a subtle psychological hook. Every time she recalls you, she experiences the contrast between ordinary life and the rare intensity you bring. That intensity is why she can't leave your mind, even when she tries. Another layer few men recognize is timing. Influence is built over consistent, high-quality interactions, not constant availability. Each interaction, whether a conversation, a glance, or even a single message, becomes a mental seed. The more thoughtfully you plant these seeds, the more they grow in her imagination, replayed in mental loops that keep you unforgettable. The best part? None of this requires manipulation. It's about awareness, presence, and deliberate emotional alignment. When you grasp this, everything changes. You stop over-chasing, stop over-explaining, and stop fearing silence. You understand that attraction is psychological, emotional, and subtle. And once you internalize this, you step into a level of magnetic presence most men will never experience, because it requires insight, patience, and mastery of self, not luck. Now, let's tie it all together. You've learned the 4 hidden truths. Her mind lingers on you because of emotional imprinting, subconscious chemical loops, the power of her imagination, and the intensity of your emotional resonance. But understanding them is only the first step. The real transformation happens when you harness them consciously, not to manipulate, but to become the kind of man who naturally occupies her mind, even in your absence. Here's the ultimate insight most men never grasp. Lasting attraction isn't about chasing, pleading, or performing. It's about embodying a presence so compelling that she cannot help but think of you. It's about showing up with confidence, intelligence, and emotional authenticity, while also maintaining a life that's full and independent of her attention. When you live this way, you create a gravitational pull that draws her thoughts to you effortlessly, repeatedly, like a mental magnet. But there's a subtle art here: balance. Too much accessibility and her mind wanders. Too much absence and she may question your interest. The key is to calibrate your presence and absence carefully. Leave enough space for her mind to replay your interactions, to imagine scenarios, and to feel the emotional intensity you've stirred. At the same time, remain consistent in your authenticity, integrity, and the energy you bring into her life. This combination is almost irresistible because it triggers curiosity, desire, and a deep psychological pull that keeps you unforgettable. Remember, her mental loops around you are a reflection of influence, not entitlement. She may think about you endlessly, but your power comes from understanding the patterns that make her thoughts happen, and using that knowledge to navigate connection intelligently. You don't overtext, you don't overchase, and you don't give away your emotional power. Instead, you occupy her mind naturally, ethically, and with quiet authority. Finally, internalize this. Attraction is invisible until it becomes undeniable. By mastering these truths, you step into a new reality where her thoughts of you are inevitable because you've become emotionally resonant, psychologically compelling, and unapologetically yourself. She can't leave your mind, and soon, she won't be able to leave your presence either if you maintain this balance. So take this knowledge, apply it with intention, and watch as your relationships, your influence, and your understanding of female psychology elevate to a level most men will never reach. This isn't luck, this is mastery. And now, it's yours.